The module 5 is tools and techniques. So these are the syllabus: benchmarking, information technology, quality management system or QMS, environmental management system, quality function deployment, quality by design, failure mode, effect analysis, FMEA, and product liability, total productive maintenance, TPM. So these are all the topics of the syllabus covered in the module 5. So let us see one by one. First one is benchmarking. Now the definition says benchmarking is the systematic search for best practices, innovative ideas, and highly effective operating procedures. Benchmarking considers the experience of others and users. So others' experience or some of the company which have already adopted and reached to certain level, so that will be considered as a standard or benchmark. Then the remaining companies, competitive companies, or some of the companies will follow that. So that will be the previous company is a set example. So that will be followed by the followers. Uh, it is a common sense proportion to learn from others what they do right and then imitate it to avoid reinventing. So once already if something has been made means no need to again reinvent that. So it is already there. So only thing is that we will be considering, we will be taking their ideas and then we will be succeeding in our company by following it. In 1800s, Francis Lowell, a New England colonist, studied British textile mills and imported many ideas along with the improvements to the American textile mills. So, compared from the some other companies and implemented to American textile mills. So that is earlier days or the initial days in 1800 it's actually begun by Francis Lowell. Introduction when this 1800 itself it is introduced, and then benchmarking is an increasingly effective popular tool. So first techniques and first tool of the TQM is nothing but benchmarking. So it is effective one. It is used extensively both manufacturing as well as service sectors or service organizations. Initial days it was to be uh, take example like Xerox, AT&T, Motorola, Ford, Toyota. These are the big company names they introduced in earlier. These are all the case studies of the benchmarking. Benchmarking stipulates that quality goals and objectives be based on competitive products. So initially, if you need to identify or you need to identify the competitor or what are all the company who introduced uh, benchmarking, and then its competitor will be follow how they succeeded in this particular tool. Then Malcolm Baldrige, one of the National Quality Award, that requires applicants benchmark external organizations. So the basic need is what they should adopt quality. I mean this benchmarking to get the award, quality award. Then what are the reasons to benchmark? So next topic, reasons to benchmark. So why we need to go to the benchmark tool for achieving business and competitive objectives. So of course we all know that we are in a competitive world wherein one company will be looking to overtake another company, overtake another product by bringing new products into market and uh, attaining the profit or achieving the profit. Uh, Business and competitive objectives helps in developing strength and weakness. So we can identify what are the strength of our company and what is the weakness and how to tackle these uh, problems. Then for functions that are critical to the business mission, organization must continue to innovative as well as imitate. You should be the company should be innovate enough to bring new products and then imitate from the others. That is what benchmarking. Benchmarking enhances innovation by requiring organizations to scan the external environment and to use the information obtained to improve the process. Initially, we'll be studying with the environment means it is maybe the competitive company, or it may be the nature itself. We will be looking uh, in and around or surrounding of our organization, and then we will be whatever the data collected, whatever the ideas we got, that can be uh, improved, that can be helped to improve the process. Benchmarking is a more efficient way to make improvements. It is the best tool and easy tool. Benchmarking speeds up organization's ability to make up improvements. So quickly you can adopt this benchmarking and then compare business practices with those world-class organizations. So many organizations are there which is called as world-class organizations, uh, already succeeded in developed countries and all. So next is challenge current practices and processes. So what are the, so depending upon the customer requirement, you will be having different. You should follow that different practices, and you need to change the process. So that is big challenge there. And create improved goals and practices for the organization. So improved goals is always necessary so that we can survive in the market, and change the perspective of executives and managers so they can feel better, they can uh, earn more and more profit by this benchmarking. So that is why benchmarking is very, very important. So these are the reasons for benchmarking. This is why we need to adopt, or we need to go for benchmarking tool. Next, what are the objectives of benchmarking? So becoming competitive, improving industry best practices, defining customer requirements, establishing effective goals and objectives, developing the measures of productivity. So these are all the very basic objectives of benchmarking. Of course, finally it leads to the customer satisfaction, and of course internal satisfaction and external satisfaction of the organization, and thereby the company and organization, it may be manufacturing or it may be service, that will survive, that will make profit by adopting one of the TQM tool, that is benchmarking. So this is the objectives of benchmarking. One example we have considered here, that is Xerox benchmarking model. Of course, you all know that it is now Xerox is making a good market because of the benchmarking only. So earlier it was not like that. Uh, it was in earlier days it was into loss. Then after comparing with some other companies, Xerox pulled back its market once again. So that is this is what the steps involved in this. It is planning, analysis, integration, action, maturity. So Xerox is nothing but a company. It is it makes photocopying machine. So it is planning, analysis. Then the third step is integration, action, maturity. So this is what the steps involved in the benchmarking. For example, under planning, you have identified benchmark output. So you need to compare with the other company, other organization, companies, competitor company, and get the output. Identify best competitors. So that is what very important. So who succeeded in benchmarking? That is what we need. Then determine data collection method. How we can collect the data? Either it may be following directly them, or by indirectly we can collect the data. Then analysis phase, you have determine current competitive gap. So whatever the company and our company and benchmark, that standard company, what is that we have lagging? That is what we'll be calling it as a gap. Then project future performance level. So how in future you need to perform, that product need to perform. Then coming to the integration, the data must be, after analysis, it must be integrated, establish functional goals. So what is the function of the process and the product? And the communication of data and acceptance of analysis, very important it is. The data has to be communicated properly through proper channel to the higher authorities. All people should aware of the situation. Then it has to be accepted. Once it is across the table, you need to sit across the table and discuss about the collected data and the future things. Then once it is done, in integration phase itself, develop functional action plan. So action plan must be proposed and it has to be brought into action. Then coming to the action phase, the actual thing there, it is once acceptance of analysis done, then implement specific plan. So how we are going to approach that? So then monitor results or the report progress, how it goes. So once it is reached to certain phase, then uh, it goes to the recalibrate benchmark. If any deficiencies are there, you can correct there in that phase. If not, it goes to the first phase wherein identify benchmark output. So there you can correct it and send it back to the usual procedure by the following the preceding steps. And finally, the maturity part wherein leadership position obtained. So it has to be accepted by the leadership or the authoritative people. Then the process fully integrated in our practices. So in our practices means whatever the company that is uh, now here in this case it is Xerox. So this is ideal situation or ideal flow chart to implement benchmarking in any organization. This is a good and fine model. So Xerox is what initially followed this. Next topic, uh, types of benchmarking. There are nine important types of the classification you can say in benchmarking. First one is process benchmarking, financial benchmarking, performance, product benchmarking, strategic benchmarking, functional benchmarking, internal and external benchmarking, and finally the international benchmarking. The first one is process benchmarking. Process benchmarking is nothing but organization that benchmark adapt the process to best fit their own needs and culture. So whatever the company is there that is following to improve its process, and that process should be best fit to their organization. So many uh, things you will be following there. But only thing is that the process will be there, but whatever the best fit is what we are considering there. So the next is financial benchmarking. Here the financial analysis and comparing the results in an effort to assess your overall competitiveness. So the financial matters or the financial things is what we are comparing in this kind of benchmarking. That is the financial benchmarking. The third one is performance benchmarking. Here, it actually allows the initiator firm to assess their competitive position by comparing the products and services with those of target firm. So here, uh, competitor or the competitive position will be comparing with the target firm. That is what the performance benchmarking. Its performance is measured here and it is implemented to the organization is the target organization. The fourth one is the product benchmarking. Here the process of designing new products or upgrade the current ones. So both can be possible. Either you can go for new products or invent new products, or you can upgrade whatever the current product we are already manufacturing. Some updation might be required. Sometimes involve the reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is also with taking apart competitors' products and to find strengths and weakness. Though possibilities are there, you can go for reverse engineering, wherein already made product will be dismantled, or whatever the data, the design, everything will be adopted to make somewhat new concept. So of course the product intention, the function, everything remains same. Some changes is uh, made. Fifth one is strategic benchmarking. Here, some of the strategic decisions are compared to the target. So this is what strategic benchmarking. Next one is functional benchmarking, wherein the comparison against organizations that are not necessarily competitors, need not be competitor company, but the performance related tasks within the same technological area. Technology remains same, but the output or whatever the final outcome of the product is serving differently, but the technology uh, of both company, they will be using the same. So if that is the case, we will be going for the functional benchmarking. So next is internal, external, competitive, international. So internal benchmarking within the organization will be setting some target, or will be observing the observe parameter will be implemented to the target machineries or target process. External, of course, it is external competitive. So for all the outside, so outside organization will be studying there, or will be setting the goals by observing their strategies. So these are all the types of benchmarking. Earlier I missed this one, competitive benchmarking. Now it is added. So there are 10 types of benchmarking are there. Next, how to process or how to implement this benchmarking. That is nothing but process of benchmarking. There are 6 steps are there in benchmarking. These are all the 6 steps of the benchmarking. Decide what to benchmark. So initially we need to study why and then what to do benchmark. Which process I can I can make this tool. Then understand current performance. Already if you are making some process, or if you are following some process, we need to go with that. Then plan, study others, of course that is main area. Then learn from data. Whatever the data collected has to be properly studied and analyzed, and finally implement. So this is what use the finding. So there are 6 steps. Coming to the first step, decide what to benchmark. So benchmarking can be applied to any business or production process. Anything can be implemented. Only thing is that we need to follow proper procedure to do the benchmark. So decide what to benchmark. Next, understanding current performance. To compare practices to outside benchmarks, it is first necessary to thoroughly understand, document the current process of one particular organization that we are stand. So that is very important. So you need to understand our own procedure, our own organization findings, and their steps, or the particular company which has to be, you can call it as a target company. So how it is performing, its performance level or the measurement should be done initially. Then the planning. Once internal process is understood and documented, it is possible to make decision about how to conduct the study. So our data has to be collected, understood, and then implementation about the uh, other or setting the goals to from taking the data from the other company. Then the team should be decided that what type of benchmarking to be performed. It is earlier we saw the 10 types of benchmarking. So the team should be decided what type of benchmarking. You have 10 or very little process or little benchmarking tool is holds good for our organization, which has to be identified. And benchmarking plan is a learning process. One needs to understand this. This is a learning process. Ultimately, it is directly in one single approach. It might not be useful or it might not be turned out good, but it needs to be studied and it should be. It is a learning process. Learn from the mistake and adopt uh, in a better manner for future. Then the third, studying others, of course, very, very important. Benchmarking studies look for two types of information. You will be getting two types. Either the first one is a description of how best in-class process are practiced. The best in-class process or the what companies are, what are the companies which already called as so-called best class organizations. So that we can study, the description or the data will get, then the measurable results of these practices. So once, if it is only a best class organization means, then only you can collect the data. So then their results will be you can use to the target something and learn from the data. So these things you can study easily by answering the series of questions like is there is a gap between the organization performance and performance of the best in class organization. So one is best in class, which will be the source of collection of data. The other one is the target. So if there is any gap, of course, if the gap is there means only we'll be going to take up the benchmarking. Then what is the gap? What is that gap? We'll be finding out. These are all the analysis part. How much is it, and why there is a gap? Which process can be by adopting? What is the inefficiency we have? So these are all some of the questions you can arise within yourself, and you'll get the data or we'll get the answer. Next findings, the final. Benchmarking is a waste of time if change does not occur as a result. If there is no change to be implemented, means it's a waste of time, waste of energy, everything will be wasted. To effect the change, the findings must be communicated to the people within the organization who can enable improvement. So that has to be properly channelized and it has to be uh, data, and this findings has to be made aware to the people around in and around the organization, especially the employees. Then the findings must be translated to goals and objectives, and action plans must be developed to implement new process. So everyone must aware of the new changes and the objectives. Then the generic steps for the development and execution of action plans, how we can execute this. This is a specify task. We need to tell them what is the task, and sequence of tasks has to be uh, it has to be properly uh, made aware of this task. Then determine resource needs, what are the resources required, establish task schedule when we are going to implement and how, assign responsibility for each task. So any changes are there that has to be assigned the responsibility to the employees properly, describe expected results. Of course, what is that we're going to expect after this? Just specify methods for monitoring results. So this is very important. Monitoring is very important. Otherwise, if you not properly implemented, the feedback, everything should be there. Then goals and objectives should be consistent with the execution of the action plan so that the end result is process superiority. So finally, the previous process, whatever the organization is adopted, that has to be the current process has to be superior than the previous process. The best results are obtained when process owners fully participate in the design and execution of the plan. So management team has also uh, plays an important role in following this. Advantages. Uh, it helps improve process effectiveness. Of course, that is what final task. The process should be effectively implemented. Then helps in cost reduction so that it can improve the profit. It provides focus in planning operations. uh, the sharing of information may create opportunities for innovation. So information is shared across the table. You'll be having lots of discussion will be occurring. Then it assesses the firm's existing position and provides the basis for establishing standards of performance. So that is another. Then cross comparisons are more likely to expose different way of doing things. So that is what I told you. So across the table, so many ideas will be generated, and it provides evidence for additional resources. So uh, after that, practitioners are led, so gives a sense of ownership. The practitioner will be leading with an example, then facilitates multidisciplinary team building and networking, provides an avenue for changing clinical practice. Uh, so it's a, on the whole, it's a clinical performance. This is all the advantages. So the next topic is disadvantages of benchmarking. There are a few disadvantages are also there if it is not properly implemented. The first one is benchmarking is the danger of complacency and arrogance. So this is very important disadvantages. Most of the time, what happens, at least few times, what happens is complacency. Maybe some of the managers they might not satisfy with the performance, so chances of arrogance, maybe performance of employees, their working styles and attitudes. So chances are there complacency, maybe the uh, dissatisfaction of the managers occurs. So that is if it is not properly implemented, one of the disadvantages. Then it implies there is only one best way of doing business. So they will think that the chances is that only way of doing business is doing the benchmarking. That is not good. And it depends on the accuracy of the information. So how you are going to collect it and reliability of the data you have collected. That is what another disadvantage. Chances are there it may fail if you don't give good data or collect good data, then it may be difficult to decide which activities to benchmark. So many activities you might have in your organization, or so many process will be there. So which or what are the process you can go for benchmarking? Then it encourages the mentality of catching up rather than being innovative. So always we will be looking for copying. Simply you can say it is copying. So always it is not good copying the others. So sometimes or you need to be innovative also to make good product. Then lack of strategic relevance. Finally, strategically, if you don't good enough to take the company forward, then always it is not possible to succeed in the companies or organizations. These are all the disadvantages. So this completes the first topic in tools and techniques, benchmark.